Morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po. We'll call this hearing to order. And before we continue, let me direct the committee secretary to acknowledge our resource persons for today.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. Good morning to our resource persons. For the public hearing on local bills, namely House Bill numbers 7316, taking into consideration SBN 2096, HBN 8700, HBN 9128, HBN 9295, HBN 9296, HBN 92927, HBN 9298, and HBN 9299. We would like to acknowledge our resource persons and guests from the House of Representatives present in the room is Representative Adrian Michael A. Amatong from the 3rd District of Zamboanga del Norte, and present via Zoom or online is Representative Mark Go from the Lone District of Baguio City. From the government agencies, we have from the DepEd Central Office, ASEC Francis Cesar Bringas, Assistant Secretary for Operations. From the regional offices and schools division offices, we have from the DepEd CAR, Dr. Estelle El Carino, the regional director. From DepEd Baguio City, we have Dr. Soraya Tifaculo, the OIC Schools Division Superintendent. From DepEd Region 5, we have Dr. Gilbert Sadsad, the regional director. From DepEd Camarines Sur Schools Division Office, we have the Assistant Schools Division Superintendent Arvin Arcese, Mr. Pedro Pelonio, Mr. William Villare, Ms. Marichu Del Rosario, Ms. Eva Barcia, Ms. Maria Luisa Melante, and Mr. Rene Pastrona. From DepEd Region 9, we have the Regional Director, Dr. Ruth L. Fuentes. From the DepEd Zamboanga del Norte, we have Assistant Schools Division Superintendent Raymond M. Salvador. From DepEd Zamboanga del Sur, we have Dr. Jeneline Aleman, the Schools Division Superintendent. From the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, or NCCA, we have Deputy Executive Director Marichu Taliano and Mr. Renzo P. Polanco. From the Cultural Center of the Philippines, or CCP, we have Ms. Consuelo Zapata, the Chief Culture and Arts Officer, and Ms. Eunice Grace Mariscal, Culture and Arts Officer. From the Philippine Sports Commission, or PSC, we have the Deputy Executive Director, Attorney Guillermo Iroy Jr., and the Chief of the Program Research and Development Division, Dr. Lauro Domingo Jr. From the National Academy of Sports, we have Attorney Maria Josephine M. Ramos, Attorney 5 and OIC of the Legal and External Affairs Division, Attorney Tracy Sangalang Reyes, Attorney of the Legal and External Affairs Division, and Attorney Lourdes Ana de la Cruz, Chief of Staff of the Office of the Executive Director. And last but not the least, from the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM, we have Ms. Joy Rico and Ms. Danielle Angela Bernadette Crisostomo. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Comsec. And again, I welcome Congressman Amatong for joining us today physically. So since you're here physically today, we'll tackle your bill first so that we can dispense with all of your proposals. But before that, let me read into the records the 8 local bills, 8 House bills that were transmitted to the Senate for action. Number 1 is House Bill number 7316, entitled Baguio City High School for the Arts, by Representative Mark Go.
Morning.
Good morning. Taking to consideration Senate Bill number 2096, establishing the Baguio City High School for the Arts, authored by Senator Amy Marcos. Another bill is House Bill number 8700, entitled Baguio City Sports High School, authored by Representative Marco. Then there's also House Bill number 9128, entitled Balong-Balong National High School, authored by Jazel Victoria Yu, Representative Jazel Victoria Yu. Next is House Bill number 9295, Denrica National High School, authored by Representative Arnulf Brian Arnie Fuentebella. The next is House Bill number 9296, entitled Sipakong National High School, authored by Representative Adrian Michael Amatong. Next is House Bill number 9297, entitled Mangop National High School, authored by Representative Adrian Michael Amatong. Next is House Bill number 9298, entitled Josepi Brillantes Elementary School, authored by Representative Adrian Michael Amatong. And lastly, House Bill number 9299, entitled Hativ Asamudin Elementary School, authored by Representative Adrian Michael Amatong. And with the permission of Congressman Mark Go, who's with us online, we will start off with the proposals of Congressman Amatong, since he's here physically with us. Um, and uh, uh, the representative from DepEd is also here with us, ASIC, bring us, who will also help us ascertain the compliance of the bills. So we'll start off with House Bill number 9296, entitled Sipakong National High School. And would like to hear an opening statement or a sponsorship statement from Congressman Amatong.
Good morning, Senator. Thank you very much, and advance happy birthday.
Thank you.
May I respectfully request that the explanatory note of the bill be entered as my introductory speech.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So we would like to hear a statement from the SDS or the representative of the SDS from Zamboanga del Norte, represented by Assistant School Division Superintendent Raymond M. Salvador.
Good morning, Senator. Good morning to the members of the committee. On behalf of the Schools Division Superintendent, we strongly support the House Bill number 9296 on the creation of Sipakong National High School, as we believe this will benefit our learners and our schools division in the Congressional District 3 of Zamboanga del Norte Province, Senator.
Thank you. Thank you for that statement. We'll also would like to hear from Dr. Ruth Fuentes, the Regional Director for Region 9.
Mr. Honorable Chair.
Go ahead, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay, a blessed day and good morning to everyone. The regional office of Zamboanga Peninsula strongly support the creation of Sipakong School, because this will provide access to our learners who are within the area, and also this also give employment opportunities to all our teachers and non-teaching personnel within the area. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And like to hear also comments from ASIC Pingas, representing the DepEd Central Office.
Mr. Chair, the department interposes no objection to the separation or to the House Bill number 9296, the establishment of Sipakong National High School, Zamboanga del Norte Schools Division Office, subject to the guidelines of the department on the establishment of schools, particularly Deped Order number 40, series of 2014. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. With that, any comments from the body, from our friends from Zamboanga del Norte? Any comments? Any additional comments on the matter? Hearing none, and there is support from our SDS, RD, and also no objection from the central office. We hereby approve House Bill number 9296 and transmit it to plenary for further deliberation. All right, so we go to House Bill number 9297, entitled An Act Separating the Bakungan National High School, Mangop Extension in Barangay Mangop, Municipality of Leon B. Postigo, Province of Zamboanga del Norte, from the Bacungan National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as the Mangop National High School and appropriating funds therefore. So, any sponsorship statement, Congressman Amatong?
Thank you, Senator. I may respectfully also request that the explanatory note be entered as the introductory speech.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We now call on our SDS, represented by Assistant School Division Superintendent Raymond Salvador.
Good morning again, Mr. Chair. The Schools Division Office of Zamboanga del Norte supports the creation and separation of Mangop National High School, sponsored by our Congressman Amatong. As again, we believe this will give us an opportunity to extend our services to our learners in the area, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Next is we call on the Regional Director of Region 9, Dr. Ruth Fuentes.
Mr. Chair, we strongly endorse the separation of Bacungan School to Mangop National High School.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that comment. I just have okay. We'll go on to Asek Bringas. Any comments?
Mr. Chair, we interpose no objection to the separation into an independent high school for Mangop National High School or House Bill number 9297, still subject to the establishment of schools, specifically Debit Order number 40, series of 2014.
Thank you. Thank you for that comment. I just have one observation, and we derived this from the feasibility study. According to the findings of MGB, September 20, 2019, the project site for the proposed independent national high school has moderate landslide susceptibility. May I ask the regional director or the SDS if this has been rectified or mitigated, and any action to mitigate this observation by the MGB. I understand this is an existing school, Kong. And when was the school established? Or maybe the SDS or the regional director will know.
Sir Raymond, can we provide some information on the creation of the school, please?
Superintendent Raymond, when was this school established?
Mr. Chair, I am currently asking our planning officer as to the exact date of the creation of the establishment of the school. But as to your first query with regards to the concern of the location of the school, it is now being monitored under our local project. We call it Project Rise. We are currently doing the monitoring on the location of the school, as you have mentioned, of its hazard. I will provide you the exact date of the establishment of the school, Mr. Chair, in a while po.
So to date, because MGB observed that it's susceptible to moderate landslide, any action did the school or the LGUs undertake over the past few years to mitigate this?
Again, Mr. Chair, I will provide you the data. The information as to what actions have been taken, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask for apologies because I have been in the province assigned for barely 3 months, Mr. Chair. I will provide you the information as soon as my colleague will arrive here in my office po, Mr. Chair.
Sige, let's do this na lang. because there's an MGB observation, and obviously I have to defend this bill. And if this comes up, I need to demonstrate that mitigating measures were indeed implemented in the past. If not, there are plans to implement mitigating measures, whether by the LGU or by the school or even by the congressional action through the commitment of Congressman Amatong, so that we can allay the fears, no, of our kababayans in Zamboanga del Norte that this school is safe and government is doing something to make this safe. So please submit to us, no, within the week, latest next week, end of next week, updates on this moderate landslide observation, actions taken, or commitments to take action to mitigate this moderate landslide susceptibility. Yeah. Congressman, any
Mr. Chair, I commit to take action whatever is needed.
Thank you for that, Congressman. At least we have also Congressman Amatong who can help facilitate funds that will mitigate this observation by MGB. So with that, we will also, House Bill number 9297 is deemed approved and submitted to plenary, subject to the submissions of the mitigating measures that was discussed earlier. Right. Okay. Next on the table will be House Bill number 9298, an act separating the Siocon Central School, JP Brillantes Extension in Barangay Jose P. Brillantes Senior, Municipality of Siocon, Province of Zamboanga del Norte, from the Siocon Central School, converting it into an independent elementary school to be known as the Jose P. Brillantes Elementary School, and appropriating funds therefore. So with that, let me once again call on Assistant School Division Superintendent Raymond M. Salvador. Okay. Go ahead, Assistant Superintendent Raymond.
Again, good morning, Mr. Chair. The Schools Division of Zamboanga del Norte. Again, we strongly support House Bill number 9298 on the separation of JP Brillantes to to Jose P. Brillantes Elementary School po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. And once again, we call on Regional Director Dr. Ruth Fuentes.
Mr. Chair, we support the region endorses the separation of Siocon Central School to be named to Jose P. Brillantes Elementary School. And with assurance that we will be monitoring that complete staffing would be provided for this, for the teachers in the school. Likewise, and other resources that would be needed for the separation of an independent school, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And we call on ASIC Bringas for their comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I give our comment with regards to House Bill 9297, the department also commits through, the first one kasi yung sa interventions yung sa comment kanina that the department through our engineering and facilities division through our school infrastructure strand will also commits also to provide the division the necessary technical assistance to comply with the requirements of this committee, Mr. Chair. And with regards to House Bill number 9298, we interpose no objection, subject to the guidelines set by the department on the separation of elementary schools from their mother schools, specifically Deped Order 40 series of 2014. Thank you.
You, Asik Bringas. And in the same observation from MGB, this is from their report dated November 29, 2017. The MGB classified the entire municipality of Siocon, where the proposed independent elementary school is to be located, as having high flood susceptibility and none for landslide. So baha naman dito. Thus, the site may be susceptible to critical flooding hazard during the monsoon season. So would like to hear from Assistant Superintendent Raymond Salvador. Again, no, if any mitigating measures that were undertaken in the past or any programs or projects that will mitigate this in the future, whether by DepEd or by LGU. In the past, when we have things like this, normally it's the LGU who commits to help the school mitigate whatever problems that they encountered. And but we want to hear actions that were undertaken or will be undertaken so that we can favorably sponsor the bill. So any comments from there, Assistant Superintendent?
Mr. Chair, I would like to give the floor to my colleague who is in charge of the monitoring, and he would like to also share to you our current updates on the status of the location of the school, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Please identify yourself and your position, and then you can make your comment.
Morning po, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. This is Wilson HUD, Senior Education Program Specialist.
Sir, can you repeat? Medyo malabo yung dating nyo. Can you speak loudly and clearly? You're coming in, your voice is quite weak.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. I am Wilson HMD, Senior Education Program Specialist for School Management, Monitoring, and Evaluation. So, as to the status po, particularly of Jose Brillantes Elementary School to be separated from Siocon Central School po. Actually, I have been there. The place is actually plain low-lying po siya. Wala pong landslide, no, na-threat doon or hindi po siya susceptible for landslide. Kasi ang ginawa namin usually before we endorse anything to the higher office, we actually conduct on-site inspection to the school to be established or converted to integrated school.
How about po yung flood? Here in the MGB report, yes, you're correct that it's not prone to landslides. But
Yes,
in the MGB report, it says having high flood susceptibility. So, in other words, binabaha siya or pwedeng bahain.
So far naman, sir, based on our record naman po, for the last few years, wala naman po mga incident na yung school was flooded actually. Except yung time na namin lakas na bagyo doon sa Quezon, sa Siocon area. But it was not all other schools actually. But in regular, hindi naman masyado malakas yung ulan sa talaga sir. So,
Nasa lowland ba itong school?
yes po, yes po.
Mr. Inding?
Yes po,
nasa
yes,
valley?
Yes,
Let's do this, no? May we get a commitment from Congressman Amatong that in case the school itself will request for mitigating measures, both congressional initiatives and the Department of Education will assist the school to improve its fight against flooding.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, sir.
Yung pong buong
Sir,
sentro ng Siocon actually is lagi siyang binabaha. And pati na rin si Rawai Sibuko. But the last few years, we've installed some flood mitigating structures. So medyo nababawasan na. And medyo na nakaprogram na rin sa succeeding years. So hindi to isolated case dun sa school. Pero it's been addressed na po. Slowly.
So in the past, it's been addressed na rin. And can we also get a commitment from DepEd that in case they will need more funding to mitigate floods, DepEd will also act on their request?
Yeah, we give that commitment, Mr. Chair, that our Engineering Facilities Division as well as our DRRMS will provide such assistance to the school.
All right, thank you. Just as same request with the previous school to Assistant School Division Superintendent Raymond Salvador, just submit to us also a status report on the flooding issue and actions taken, and as well as the commitments from the different national agencies or the congressional office to undertake mitigating measures. So just submit to us together with the previous school. Narinig niyo po?
Yes po, Mr. Chair, loud and clear po. We will
Thank you.
prepare po.
Thank you for that. So with that, we are favorably endorsing House Bill number 9298 to plenary for further deliberation. So with that, we go to House Bill number 9299, entitled An Act Separating the Bukana Elementary School, Hativ, Asamudin Extension in Barangay Bukana, Municipality of Siokon, Province of Zamboanga del Norte from Bukana Elementary School, converting it into an independent elementary school to be known as the Hativ Asamudin Elementary School, and appropriating funds therefore. So once again, we will call on Assistant School Division Superintendent Raymond Salvador.
Good morning again, Mr. Chair. We support House Bill number 9299. We believe again this will give us an opportunity to further serve our clienteles and of course benefit our learners within that locality, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that, and we call on RD Ruth Fuentes.
The regional office strongly endorses the separation Bukana Elementary School, Hativ Asamudin, converting it into an independent elementary school to be known as Hativ Asamudin Elementary School, provided with the assurance also that the region and will continue to monitor the creation of teaching items, separation of teaching items and non-teaching items, and also other resources that will be needed in the separation of such schools. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you for that, and we call on Asik Bringas for the comments from DepEd Central Office.
Mr. Chair, the department interposes no objection to House Bill number 9299 separating the school into Hativ Asamudin Elementary School in Siokon, Zamboanga del Norte, and subject to the guidelines set forth in DepEd Order 40 series of 2014. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Asik. I would like to flag again the body that in a report dated January 6, 2021, the MGB classified the construction site of the proposed school building as having high flood susceptibility. Just a basic question: is this school under construction? Is it still under construction, or the school have been put up already? May I ask Assistant School Division Superintendent Raymond Salvador? Has this school been put up already, or is it still under construction, or is it what's the status of the school?
Mr. Chair, as referred to me by my colleague, Mr. Chair, it is now an existing school, existing extension school, Mr. Chair.
So it's already operating, in other words.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And
an extension school.
extension. And any comments on the MGB report? Same question. Have any mitigating measures been implemented? Is the school or the LGU planning to put any mitigating measures?
I will again refer to my colleague, Mr. Chair, to answer your query, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Inding.
Good morning once again, Mr. Chair. Yes, during our on-site inspection, sir, we talked about this with the school head and with the PTA. And according to them, we are actually also coordinating with the LGU of Siocon for the mitigating, no, for the construction of mitigating structures to mitigate the flood, no, well, the flood rather, because the area is kind of susceptible to flooding because it is in the low-lying area, and in fact it is near yung shoreline po. So, but the area is actually densely populated ng ating mga Muslim brothers, and they really are in need po ng school na ng mga bata nila is hindi na masyadong ma-displace po.
Have the school experienced flooding in the past?
The last recorded yung report na flood yung area po, yung time na yung entire Siocon na nag-under ko ng flooding kasi yung bagyo na yun, I cannot remember clearly, sir. I cannot recall the name of that yung typhoon na nag-hit sa area, but that was the last time po na record namin na the area was actually flooded.
And has the school implemented any projects to mitigate flood?
That is an ongoing measure, sir. So they're actually working closely with the LGU to ask for assistance, and they're actually improving the school site, the school physical plant, particularly yung mga canals nila, yung irrigation system kasi nga sa tabi ng eskwelahan may mga may mga swamp areas kasi, so they are working on the canals, the irrigation sa vicinity ng school po.
So the LGU is helping the school
Yes po.
to mitigate the
Yes po.
flood. Okay, all right.
We are proud that LGU of Siocon is really proactive po sa education, and they are really giving support.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. At least we can demonstrate that the LGU is active to mitigate this high, they call it high flood susceptibility as described by the MGB. So any comments from Congressman Amatong on this matter?
So, Mr. Chair, about 7 or 8 years ago, yung entire Siocon was submerged. Siguro mga kasing taas siguro niyan na flood sa In fact, yung bridge nun, hindi siya passable during that time. But since then, we've instituted some flood control facilities. Tsaka the next few years, meron ding mga nakaprogram na doon. So hopefully, the entire Siocon will be saved from flooding. Hindi lang yung mga schools.
In other words, it's not only the schools who will benefit from the mitigating, from the project, flood mitigating project, but the entire municipality. All right. All right. And any comments from ASEC? Can we get a commitment that in case they'll require more assistance, DepEd National or DepEd Central Office stands ready to support them?
Okay, we give the committee that commitment, Mr. Chair, care of our Engineering Facilities Division and our DRRMS.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. So with that, we are favorably endorsing House Bill number 9299 to plenary. Anong sunod?
Mr. Chair, in behalf of the people of my district, we'd like to thank you and your committee for giving attention to our bills.
Thank you for that. And we'll just await from the SDS those updates on the MGB observation, as well as some description on the projects that they have undertaken, and plans also to continue to mitigate those problems.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I commit to you that I will personally visit the sites next week.
Thank you for that, Congressman. Thank you. All right, so we go to the proposals of Congressman Mark Go, who's also the chairman of the House Committee on Higher Education. So we the first on the agenda will be House Bill number 7316, entitled An Act Establishing the Baguio City High School for the Arts and Appropriating Funds therefore, taking in consideration Senate Bill number 2096, an act establishing the Baguio City High School for the Arts and appropriating funds therefore, authored by Senator Marcos. So with that, we'd like to call on Congressman Marco for any opening statement or endorsements.
Yes, Senator Win, thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you for including this proposed measure in today's agenda of the committee. Baguio is home to strong cultural traditions and various creative industries. It is the first Philippine city to be inducted into the UNESCO Creative City Framework in 2017, which recognizes cities with rich cultural heritage and also recognizes creativity as a major factor in their urban development. House Bill 7316 seeks to provide creative avenues for the talented youth in the city of Baguio, including neighboring towns in the greater Northern Luzon area, to develop their skills and artistic expression. The bill specifically shall pave the way for the establishment of an academic institution focused on the arts to be known as the Baguio City High School for the Arts, that would help ensure long-term sustainability in the creative sector, in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal of making cities and human sentiments or settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. By creating the Baguio City High School for the Arts, the youth of Baguio and even those from neighboring areas will have a place where their aptitude and skills in culture and the arts can be properly honed with the right environment, facilities, and curriculum. Through this specialized public secondary institution, free artistic and intellectual expression can foster with the guidance of trained professionals and properly complemented with the necessary academic foundation so that the students are still free and able to enter any field of study or profession they may choose upon graduation. Still, a high school for the arts will allow this youth to see the creative sector as a viable option for career and livelihood. It is envisioned that from the ranks of the future graduates of the Baguio City High School for the Arts will rise the next industry giants and national artists, just like our very own national artist, Ben Cabrera, known as Ben Cab, and Eric Orteza de Guia, known as Kidlat Tahimik, are proudly showcasing the Filipino culture and talent to the international stage. In view of the foregoing, Mr. Chair, approval of this proposed measure is earnestly sought. Thank you very much, and good morning to all.
Thank you for that, Congressman Go. Now we call on the OIC Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Suraya Faculo, for comments.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and to everyone. The Schools Division of Baguio City highly supports the approval of House Bill number 7316 and Senate Bill number 2096, an act establishing the Baguio City High School for the Arts into law. We support the promotion of sustained development of our young Filipinos here in Baguio and in CAR, whose aptitude and skills in culture and the arts shall be properly encouraged and honed through education and the specialized training programs by establishing Baguio City High School for the Arts. That also supports Baguio City's creative city. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning.
Thank you for that. We call on the Regional Director for Dakar, Dr. Estela Carino. You're on mute, RD. You're on mute.
Sorry. Good morning, Mr. Chair, and to everyone. As mentioned by the SDS of Baguio City, we are really in need in the Cordillera of a school such as the School for the School of Arts. And this will not only benefit the students from Baguio, but other students from the entire Cordillera. And the regional office will surely support as well as give technical assistance in this operation of the school, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And we call on Asek Bingas for the comments from the central office.
Mr. Chair, the department interposes no objection to the establishment of the Baguio City High School for the Arts, and we also commit to give assistance to the region and the division in the preparation of the 5-year development plan as prescribed in the House Bill, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. Before I throw questions, I would like to also call on some friends from the NCCA. We start off with friends from NCCA. We're privileged to be joined by the Deputy Executive Director, Ms. Marichu Teliano. Ayan, ma'am. Any comments po on this bill?
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to give comment to this bill. The NCCA strongly supports the establishment of the Baguio City High School for the Arts, as this is really one of the intent of the NCCA in order to be able to promote arts and culture all over the country. Having another high school for the arts would give more opportunity for our young people to be trained to hone their talents and nurture their creativity. Right now, at the age where we are talking about creative industries as an important enabler and contributor to economy, we see that a lot of potentials are in Baguio City, being a creative city for crafts and folk arts, and many other potentials that are in there. So we strongly support the passage of this bill and the establishment of the Baguio City High School for the Arts. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that, Ms. Taliano. We call on CCP for their comments as well.
Good morning po. The Cultural Center of the Philippines welcome and support the creation of the Baguio City High School for the Arts. With the center, we see it the more high school for the arts is the better, because we can find more potential artists. For the CCP will be of assistance on matters of artistic direction and arts content. Thank you po.
Apologize, I just saw the presence of DBM. In fact, I was looking at the other bills. DBM is also part of the list of resource persons. But I'll just call you at the end, ma'am, just to make an omnibus comment. Obviously, this is related to the budget. No, so I'll just call you at the end to make an omnibus comment. If you have any objection or any comment, we'll just do it in a omnibus manner. So I have some basic questions from to the SDS, and maybe Congressman Marco can also chime in on this. How many students are we looking at, or how many students are we envisioning to enroll? And will this only accept students within Baguio City or the rest of Cordillera? Because this is definitely a very unique school, and it is also a school that will develop artistic talents of our students. It can be, can be students from the Cordillera area. So my basic question is, number one, is this envisioned to serve the provinces within the CAR region? And then number two, if yes or if no, how many students are we looking at in the next maybe 1 or 2 years of operations?
Mr. Chair, if you can recall in my sponsorship message, this bill is not only for youth of Baguio, but also for the Cordillera and entire Northern Luzon. Because we are just starting, having said that, because we are starting, we'd like to start with, let's say, 100 students first. Then as we grow every year, we'll be reaching probably 1,000 after 5 years or so, Mr. Chair. So we don't like to start all levels when we begin this National High School for the Arts, Mr. Chair.
So the vision is to service primarily students from the Cordillera area, and next will be the entire Northern Luzon, no? Whichever is convenient for the students, no?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair.
So with that, we're also looking to build dormitories in the future, because it will take. I know the Cordillera is very difficult, very challenging to drive around, no? Considering that it's a mountainous area. So dormitories will be a very practical approach to entice and attract students to go to the art school. So is that part of the vision, to build dormitories?
Yes, Mr. Chair. As a matter of fact, yesterday when we had a meeting with our SDS Soraya, we discussed the long-term plan of having a dormitory for our students coming from, of course, not only from Baguio, but also from the Cordillera and Northern Luzon.
Yeah, and can the compound, or can the campus hold dormitories? Do they have enough space to hold dormitories right now?
Not the current area that we have chosen to house the or to build this National High School for the Arts. But in the long term, probably after 1 year, or even now, we'll start looking for a bigger place in terms of land area so that we can accommodate the putting up of dormitories for our children.
That's good to hear, because I think since I was looking at the bill, no, I mentioned earlier there are several bills in the past that created arts and culture schools. No? One in Bataan, one in Bicol, Camarines, Camarines Sur. But I think this will be the first in the Cordillera area. No, so it will be. I'm very sure it will entice a lot of students and even parents to send their school there, so that their kids will be honed in their artistic talent. And I strongly support also the intention of the school, because definitely Filipinos are known for their artistic talent, and it's good to hone them as early as possible. And again, we have seen a lot of successes, especially in the in that successful in the school that the what's the school, high school, Philippine High School for the Arts, no? I personally went there a few months ago, and I had a good conversation with the officers there, and I was quite impressed with their successes and with the turnout of that school. So, so we can see that specialized schools work, and if you hone the talents of our learners as early as possible, we will definitely gain um, from their learnings and from their talents. So another question that I want to pose is also on the relationship within the school, the envisioned school, and also NCCA, and CCP. In the bill, it says in close coordination with NCCA and CCP. But I would like to learn uh, from the SDS or from Congressman Marco, what will be the relationship? How will we operationalize this coordination between NCCA and CCP?
Yes, one of the things that they will consider here is in the preparation of the curricula that will be offered for our students. I think this would require close coordination, or even a technical working group can be organized to come out with a curricula that is really geared toward developing and honing the artistic and cultural competencies of our students. And that can only be done if we involve the National Commission for Culture and Arts. So that's one aspect. The second one is in terms of the faculty members. We can solicit the help of NCCA and even the CCP to provide us, the faculty needed in the training of these students, no. Third, we can, in terms of technical assistance, the requirements needed in terms of logistical requirements and expertise. We need the Cultural Center of the Philippines and the National Commission for the Arts. So these are three areas that we think can really make this a sort of a world-class, if you may, National High School for the Arts, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that answer. In the bill, it also talks about policy direction, no?
Yes,
Which is also very critical and very important function of NCCA and CCP, providing policy direction, meaning where does it want to go? Where does the school want to go in the future? And I would like to ask NCCA and CCP also, who's here with us, with the other art school, no? Let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. There are 11 art schools here. So what type of assistance, what type of operational relationship do you have with these existing schools? And the next question is, what do you also envision to have the same relationship and operational relationship with the envisioned Baguio Art School? Let's start off with the NCCA.
Like for example, with the Bataan High School for the Arts, the NCCA is a member of the board, and we were there from the very start when they did the IRR of the school. So curriculum-wise, we had been heavily engaged in the discussion, forming the technical working group for the design of the curriculum, the kind of arts, and even in the selection process of the students. In terms of creating the manual for the school, exactly the policy direction where it will have to go. And since the Batana High School for the Art established a new structure we were also giving input. We have tapped our architects and our designers in the kind of structure that will support the program for the arts. So it's really a kind of an intensive relationship with the school, especially at the beginning of the programs that they have.
In other words, NCCA was heavily involved in the establishment of the Bataan Art School.
Yes.
And
Mr. Chair.
how about CCP? Is CCP part of that school, the Bataan Art School?
For the Cultural Center of the Philippines, as uh, the CCP is a member of the council. Most often, the relationship we had with the Bataan High School is we provide technical assistance in terms of their assessed need, and we also recommend faculty if they asked for. And regularly, the students of the Bataan High School for the Arts are audiences and participants to the performances and workshops done in CCP. So ganun po yung relationship ng CCP sa Bataan High School for the Arts.
I saw in the Bataan charter, this is created through RA number 11190. They have an advisory board. No? They created an advisory board by law. Do you think this is an effective mechanism to formalize the participation of NCCA and CCP? Do you think it's based on your experience? Is that an effective mechanism?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, being member of the advisory board is a formalized relationship because we have regular quarterly meetings. And I guess an important component of that advisory board are the presence of the private sector artists that are also helpful in the different discussions artistically. So my personal take is I see an important that body is important to the functioning of the school because it will help the DepEd in terms of setting the direction as a team. So actually, that's one of the things that I saw in this bill. It does not create any advisory board, but just the CCP and the NCCA engaging. But maybe there should be an instrument in terms of trying to formalize that kind of relationship as indicated in this law.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman, go ahead.
Yeah, well, it is not really our intent to put up a formal structure, including NCCA and CCP, as well as the Department of Education. We principally state here that this school shall be administered and supervised by the Department of Education in close coordination with NCCA and the Cultural Center of the Philippines, where the two bodies, NCCA and CCP, shall help us provide policy direction and technical assistance to the school through, of course, our Department of Education Cordillera Administrative Region, as well as the schools of the Division Office of Baguio City. Probably we can include certain provision in the IRR where there can be a coordinating effort between NCCA and CCP vis-a-vis the Department of Education as far as this school is concerned.
Heard earlier, Congressman Go, that you mentioned that the vision is to form a technical working group. No,
Yes,
I think this will be the vehicle to put everyone together. I think what I get from Ms. Taliano is there must be a formal group to put everyone together, no? So that in the initial phase of the school, everyone can coordinate seamlessly through that body. But earlier, I heard you mention that the vision here, for at least for this Baguio Art School, will be a technical working group, no? Through a
Yes.
technical working group. Yes, we call on ASEC Bringas for any comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For information of the committee, Mr. Chair, in the Department of Education, we have several special interest programs. We call them SIPs under the curriculum and teaching strand, and one of which is the special program in the arts. I know for a fact that Baguio City National High School has been offering the special program in the arts already. I was incidentally I was superintendent of Baguio in way back 2013, so I know that there is a robust implementation of the SPA in Baguio City National High School. However, they only have limited enrollment because of the facilities of Baguio City National High School. So perhaps I understand that this bill's intent is to put up a separate art school so that the base enrollment would be those coming from the Baguio City National High School special program in the arts and following the curriculum patterned after the Philippine High School for the Arts, because that is where we had developed also the SPA curriculum at the central office. So that is where the participation of NCCA as well as CCP would come in, Mr. Chair.
How many schools? You mentioned earlier there's an existing program right now. How many students does the program have?
If the superintendent is Superintendent Facundo, but I know there are at least three sections, one section per special interest, special per arts program, because I believe there are 6 programs under the special program in the arts: photography, dance, music, and so on, and they can only maintain around 45 because that is the standard in an arts class, Mr. Chair.
Right now, currently, more or less, they have 45 students
Per area, Mr.
per
Chair.
area.
Per
So
area,
more or
per
less,
grade level.
how many students do they have right now? More
So,
or less lang.
so Soraya, can you give us a brief or an ballpark
So we
number?
just at least we'll know that in the initial stage, we will have this number of students.
I
Thank you,
understand.
Mr.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Kong Mark, and then
I think SDS Soraya will answer the question, Mr. Chair.
go ahead, Dr. Soraya.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Currently in Baguio City National High School, for our special program for the arts, there are 2 sections per grade level. So there are 8 in total. And from this, we have 46 students per section. The total enrollment for this school year is 409. From this 409, at least there's 7% of this enrollees coming from outside of Baguio, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
How many from outside of Baguio?
7%
7%.
of the total enrollment. Yes, yes, Mr. Chair.
About 28.
28 students. Yeah. All right.
Mr. Chair, also in Pine City National High School, there are 4 sections of each grade level, and we have a total of 178 enrollees. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
How many in Pines?
There are 178 enrollees, Mr. Chair.
So definitely, there's a huge demand, no, for a specialized arts and culture school, because we're talking about close to about 600 students, more or less, no. So we can see merit in putting up a specialized school. There's great interest from the people of Cordillera to bring their kids to a specialized arts and culture school, and personally, I support this. No? Like I said, no, it's better to hone their talents at an early age so that when they graduate, they can contribute fruitfully to their families and also to our country. So with that, any more comments from NCCA or CCP? I think the comment here is that formal body. No, so we will collaborate and work with Congressman Marco on how to come up with that formal body so that everyone will sit together, especially in the initial stage. Admittedly, in the initial stage is the most difficult. No, I heard earlier from our friends from NCCA and CCP, even the hiring of teachers, no, and the selection of students, no, and that can be very challenging. And admittedly, that's an area of specialization, no, and we will need the assistance of our experts from NCCA and CCP on that matter. But we'll work on with the proponent on how to come up with that formalized body and how to operationalize that formalized body. All right.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
at this point, I will not have any objection if we formalize the creation of either a technical working group or a whatever body it is that will formalize the the group that will initially work on the implementation as well as probably in the administration. But let it be stated that the one that should be on top of all of this should be the Department of Education, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. I was actually looking at the Bataan National Bataan uh, uh, High School for the Arts in the province of Bataan. And here there's an advisory council. There's also a specified provision for powers and functions, and also a provision on the powers and functions of the school director. So maybe we can pick up some concepts here so that we can further sharpen and improve the proposed measure. But as a concept, personally, I fully support the creation of the Baguio High School for the Arts, and I also hear from our friends from the arts and culture sector that they also support this. And sabi nga ni Ma'am Zapata, the more the better. No, in fact, in Valenzuela, we were actually thinking of putting up one. No, in the past. One arts and one sports, but the sports kasi demands a lot of space. That's our problem. The arts man, when we were surveying, the interest is not so high because we're highly industrialized. No? So the demand in Valenzuela is actually for technical skills. No? So different talaga, different cities, different demands. And Baguio, we all know, when you go there, it's now known as the arts and culture hub of the Cordillera and even the Philippines. No? So that's why as many as 500, 600 students can be accommodated in the initial day or initial phase of the school. So we support that endeavor. So with that, we favorably endorse House Bill number 7316 to plenary for further discussions. So thank you, Congressman Marco.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. So the next will be House Bill number 8700, entitled An Act Establishing the Baguio City Sports High School and Appropriating Funds Therefore. And we open with an opening statement from Congressman Marco.
Yes, again, thank you, Mr. Chair, and to the members of the Committee on Basic Education. Please allow me to sponsor my other bill, House Bill number 8700, or an act establishing a Baguio City Sports National High School and appropriating funds therefore. Among unknown to many, Baguio is not just a tourist destination, but a haven for world-class athletes. We have Southeast Asian Games gold medalist Jordan Dominguez, Divine Wally, Jerome Kalika, and Jean Saklag. Southeast Asian Game double gold medalist Stephanie Sabalo, and multi-awarded ultra-marathoner Marcelo Bautista. They are just a few of our athletes who have taken the world stage and brought honor to the country and to the city of Baguio as well as Cordillera. As national attention poured in, so does that influence on the younger generation. Many find inspiration in seeing them compete, and Baguio is quite a pool of talents that need proper guidance and training. The establishment of Baguio City Sports High School will help young people from the city and nearby towns enhance their talents and potential in sports and empower them to become the country's prime athletes. The concept of specialized high schools focusing on sports is seen in several countries around the globe. In Southeast Asia, the Bukit Jalil Sports School in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and the Singapore Sports School have successfully produced several Olympic medalists and Olympians over the years. The Baguio City Sports High School will be a specialized public high school that will cater to the specific needs of young athletes in training through a sports-focused curriculum complemented with the necessary general academic curriculum. This is to ensure that the students are well-rounded and equipped with the proper foundation to enter any future field of study or profession, in addition to or even beyond the area of sports and athletics. Many sports and housing facilities are readily available within the city of Baguio, including the Baguio Athletic Bowl and Baguio Teachers Camp. With adequate government support, these facilities could further be improved to meet international standards. In view of the foregoing, Mr. Chair, may I earnestly seek the approval of this proposed measure. Again, thank you very much, and good morning to all.
Thank you, Congressman Marco. We now hear comments from the superintendent, represented by Dr. Soraya Faculo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Schools Division of Baguio City supports the approval of House Bill number 8700, an act establishing the Baguio City Sports High School. With the passing of House Bill 8700, we see that this will provide an avenue for our learners in Baguio City and the nearby municipalities and provinces to study specialized training in sports. And the established sports high school shall be the avenue of learners to learn and showcase their expertise. So with this, Mr. Chair, we strongly support the passing of the approval of House Bill number 8700. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. Let me call on Dr. Estela Carino, the Regional Director.
Good morning once again, Mr. Chair. So the establishment of the School of for Sports in Baguio City is very much needed. Again, not only by the Baguio students, but the entire Cordillera, because while we have the NAS, only few of our students qualify or would like to go there. They would always want to stay in the Cordillera. And once this school is open, it will support also the enrollees that we have actually in Baguio City National High School. We are always wanting of establishing a school specific for sports when it comes to the senior high school opening. And this the approval of this bill will be in support for that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, RD Carino. We call on ASEC Bringas.
Mr. Chair, the department interposes no objection subject to the guidelines of the department. However, we also need to take into consideration its impact on the National Academy of Sports being an attached agency of the department as well. So we recommend that a closer coordination with the NAS would be appropriate for this matter for the creation of the sports high school, Mr. Chair. And of course, we commit to the providing assistance to the region in the preparation of the 5-year development plan.
Thank you for that. I'll reserve my questions till I call on all the resource persons. We want to call on the NAS, the National Academy of Sports, represented by Attorney Josephine Ramos.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead. Any comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. The National Academy of Sports have no objection to the creation of the House Bill number 8700. However, it is subject to the approval of policies set forth by the Board of the National Academy of Sports, as it is very clear in the RA 11470 and the IRR of the said RA, that the BOT shall identify Section 3, Paragraph 3, Section 20 of Rule 7 of the said IRR states that it is the BOT who shall identify the satellite future regional nationally funded high school for sports and provide for policies for the organization of such school for sports, Your Honor. So, subject to the approval and the identification of the Board of Trustees of the National Academy of Sports, Your Honor, we will have no objection.
Okay, thank you for
Mr.
that.
Chair, Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just a comment. When we were deliberating this bill in the Committee on Basic Education, chaired by Congressman Romulo, we have talked about the role of the National Academy of Sports as provided for in the law that we have passed during the 18th Congress. And we are of the belief that after this is established and we look at the role, we will have this placed under probably the supervision not only of the Department of Education, but also of the National Academy of Sports. As found in Section 2 of this bill, it says here that the school shall be administered and supervised by the Department of Education in close coordination with the Philippine Sports Commission and the National Academy of Sports for policy and program formulation and implementation, as well as providing technical assistance, Mr. Chair. So I think just to put on record, we have recognized the specific provision of the National Academy of Sports in relation to the establishment of this National Sports High School in the city of Baguio, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. Well, I'll reserve my questions on the relationship between NAS and this school, the Baguio City High School for Sports, and if ever this will be the first of its kind outside of the NAS, no? So it will be a template for many high school for sports that will be created in the future. In fact, there's another one, Bataan High School for Sports, pending in this committee that we will be hearing soon as well. No? So, and we want to make sure that the first school that will be created will be the template for future schools. No? So we want to get it right and clear at in the beginning. So we will explore that concept later on. We call on the Philippine Sports Commission, represented by Attorney Guillermo Iroy.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, sir. Any comments?
Mr. Chair, the Philippine Sports Commission interposes no objection and fully support the establishment of the Baguio City Sports High School. And in fact, Mr. Chair, in the PC's program, Baguio City is the #1 in the youth program in the last Batang Pinoy. And I think it is one of the spawning ground of the Philippine national athletes right now. So with that, Mr. Chair, the commission wanted in fact to have more public sports high school so that the sports can be given more enough time in the public school, because right now we know for a fact that sports activity in the public school right now are limited. So we fully appreciate this bill, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, and I hope this bill becomes a law, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Iroy. Just like what Ms. Zapata said, the more the merrier. However, the sports school, admittedly, it's much more complicated because it demands space. No? I mentioned earlier in Valenzuela, we tried to establish 2 schools, one for the arts, one for sports. Unfortunately, the arts, when we did surveys, we had the students that signified to attend the proposed school for the arts is less than 100. No, so we were not economically, it's not feasible. No, and when we were planning for the high school for the arts in high school for the sports in Valenzuela, uh, our constraint was space. We don't have space. No? And the space in Metro Manila is really very difficult to get. No? So that's my first question to maybe Congressman Marco or to the SDS. Is there ample space to put up the school? No? Or is this school will be put up next to an existing sports facility, just like the NAS. No? The NAS naman is small. The school is small, but the facility, the sports facilities, were built for the SEA Games. No? So we just rode on to that facility. So my first question is, do we have ample space for this school? And then after that, I'll call on Attorney Eroy again. No? So anyone who wants to comment on that question?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Congressman Marco.
Yeah, we have identified several areas in the city of Baguio. Initially we have considered the teachers camp, which is under DepEd, Mr. Chair, as a possible area where we can train our athletes. Right now, the Philippine Sports Commission is using the teachers camp as a place for their training. They have a beautiful oval there and other facilities in the area. We have also the Athletic Bowl of Baguio City, Mr. Chair. So these are areas that we have lined up in our proposed measure so that we can start immediately once we have established this high school. But the school that was initially considered also is the high school in Irisan, which is the biggest barangay in the city of Baguio. So in one location, we don't have enough space, but we will be having several areas in the city of Baguio where we can put together a package, if you may, that will be considered as the area for all the activities of these different sports activities that will be under the National Sports High School for the city of Baguio, Mr. Chair.
Is that those areas that you mentioned, Congressman Go? Those are existing sports facilities. They have an oval. They have
Yes.
maybe a swimming pool and all of those.
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair.
So you will, just like NAS, you will maximize those existing facilities already.
Yes, that's one effort that we will have, Mr. Chair. But definitely, we still have to put up some more facilities for other sports activities under this particular program, Mr. Chair.
Okay. We'll just request from the SDS to submit to us a description or a concept paper on those proposed facilities, on those proposed areas, so that during the period of interpellation, we can demonstrate and even show pictures of those existing facilities already. And I agree. When we were discussing the National Academy for Sports, the facilities that were built for the SEA Games will become white elephants if not used in the future. So instead of leaving it to become a white elephant, we approve the National Academy of Sports so precisely to continuously use those facilities so that it will become productive, or else no one will use it. So it's a dual purpose direction for international games and also for regular use of our students. No? So the same concept, I can see the same concept can be applied in Baguio. No? So we would like to just get some information on those facilities so that we can present it to plenary later on. We call on Attorney Eroy for the
Yes, Mr. Chair. Right now, in other countries for a small area, they are more focused on indoor sports, wherein a mixed sports can use the area such as basketball, volleyball, mixed martial arts, combat sports, because the trend of the usually, Mr. Chair, is you need swimming pool, you need a 400-meter track oval, but what is important now, Mr. Chair, is to focus sports, which is in a small area like Valenzuela. We can establish a building with some multi-stories with all the sports in it, Mr. Chair.
Ang chess na yata yung napili namin doon kasi maliit na table lang eh. No, but not kidding aside, that's one of the maybe ping pong. That's one of the constraints we encountered, but we'll continue to explore. We have also a lot of interest in Valenzuela insofar as sports is concerned. No? So we'll continue to explore. So yes, go ahead, Asek, bring us.
Again, Mr. Chair, for information of the committee, in Baguio City National High School as well as Pines City National High School, they're also offering the special program in sports for so long now. So the facilities that were mentioned by Congressman Go are actually the facilities being used by students in the special program in sports in these two schools. So again, we have a base enrollment already for this, and there is an interest in the program as well.
Seems to me that Baguio is ahead of the pack, no, in terms of sports, in terms of arts, in terms of academics. In fact, the Cordillera area, and I give credit to Regional Director Carino, Cordillera has been an inspiration for many of us in terms of academics. And now I understand that they're also ahead of the pack in terms of promoting sports and promoting arts and culture. Having said that, Asak, do you know how many students are currently enrolled?
Mr. Chair, perhaps SDS Ocoli will have the numbers
Yes,
now.
SDS Foculo, do you have that number for sports
Yes,
so that we can just put that on record that we have already ready market, so to speak?
Right, Mr. Chair. Thank you. For now, Baguio City National High School has a total enrollment for the special program for sports with 377 students, Mr. Chair. Out of these 377, 45 of them are coming from outside of Baguio City. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And by the way, Mr. Chair, yes, we will submit the concept paper on the information of the facilities and attaching photos with it as well. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, SDS. So readily, we have about 377 students that we can immediately enroll in this high school for sports. So I want to get comments from the NAS, no? Because in the bill, it's specified here in close coordination with the PSE and with the NAS. But if we going by the comments of Attorney Ramos, the NAS has a special mandate. No? In fact, during the deliberation of this bill, I remember Senator Gordon was the one who proposed to make it a system, no? So that we can have branches all over the country. No, I remember he was the one who proposed that because, admittedly, the Philippines big. No, it's a huge. We all know it's a huge country, 7,000 islands, and it's more practical to put branches or satellite campuses all over the Philippines. But the curriculum will be the same across the board, and the quality of instruction will be the same across the board. So I want to ask the NAS on what do you envision, because this will be the first when we approve the Baguio High School for Sports. This will be the first of its kind. So we want to get this right so that the other proposals for this kind of school will be templated, or it will follow the Baguio model. No? So what do you envision the relationship should be between the NAS and the Baguio High School for Sports? And is that reflected in the proposed measure? No?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, for one, I just have to inform everybody that the NAS already has a curriculum, which is an enhanced secondary education program. integrated with the special curriculums on sports, and that is based on the special program on sports of the DepEd. However, we are more focused on the sports program that we have already integrated in our curriculum. Now, with the creation of the satellite campuses, satellite branches, and regional campuses, it is very clear, Mr. Chair, in the IRR that it shall be approved by the board of the NAS for the organization of future regional nationally funded high school for sports. Currently, we have no, yes, we have no satellite branch yet. So if this Baguio City Science High School will be the first, it will be a template needed. That is, we have to actually submit it to the board for its approval. We have to also consider the facilities of the Baguio City, if they have the world-class sports facilities which are at par with international standards, which should be part of the curriculum on training for the scholars, Mr. Chair. Further, any satellite branches will have a campus director that is has an equivalent to school division superintendent of the Department of Education, Mr. Chair.
My view on this, no, I read the NAS law again, is the vision of NAS when we were deliberating this was to create a system so that the satellite campuses across the Philippines will have, and you're right, a quality and enhanced secondary education program integrated with a special curriculum on sports, no, as specified in Section 3 of RA 11470. Having said that, the creation of satellite campus, in my opinion, can be twofold. No? One is administratively, meaning the NAS will put up its satellite campus, and one legislatively. No? This is where we are right now. And just like a creation of any school, it can be both administrative, meaning DepEd on its own can create it based on need, or Congress through its plenary powers can create it. So in this particular case, it's Congress that will be creating it. No? However, we do recognize that the intention of NAS is to create a system. No? So what I am, in my opinion, we should harmonize the intention of Congress in putting up sports schools, sports high schools, but at the same time, the mandate and the intention of NAS to put up a system. So we need to find that relationship or that link together. No? Because just to put it simply, the parang this creation of the Baguio High School for Sports, the board becomes Congress. No? We're creating it. No? But we do recognize that we need to uphold the system, no? So that it will be harmonious moving forward. No? So that's where we are right now. That's why I want to ask the opinion of NAS to how to establish that link, no, and how to establish the relationship, no, insofar as the curriculum, and insofar as the sports program, no, because it's also identified here. The creation of the sports program should be under the NAS, no. So just going by the example of NCCA, NCCA and CCP held the hands of the Baguio High School for Arts until, the Bataan High School for Arts until it was established. My hand holding, no. And in fact, if I understand it correctly, the policy direction came from NCCA and came from CCP from the board, no. So in other words, it's in line, no. The Bataan High School for the Arts is in line with the NCCA and with the CCP mandate, no. So that's what, in a nutshell, that's what I'm trying to put together for this proposed measure. Para it's not it's in line with NAS, but at the same time, it's operating in Baguio in accordance with its own charter. So
Mr. Chair,
yes, go ahead,
I'd
Mark.
like to make a comment. When I filed this bill, it's not the intent of this bill to be a satellite campus of the National Academy of Sports. Although I was a party to the approval as well as the discussion of the National Academy of Sports when it was a bill being discussed in the Committee on Basic Education. However, when we were deliberating on this bill of mine, we wanted a simple organization where it will be under the Department of Education. But because we have already approved into law itong National Academy of Sports, what we wanted to do is once the NAS is organized already, we will make probably at certain point this high school as an attached organization of the NAS, Mr. Chair. So yun yung ano, and I do not know why kailangan pa nating ma-approve dun sa board ito when it is simply under the Department of Education. What we wanted simply is this will be a body or an educational high school under the DepEd, but in the preparation of all the works that are needed, we will have this administered and supervised by the Department of Education in close coordination with the Philippine Sports Commission and the National Academy of Sports, particularly on policy and program formulation and implementation, as well as technical assistance, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, thank you for that, Congressman Mark. That's why I mentioned earlier in the powers, no, Section 8, letter B of RA number 11470. One of the functions of the board is to identify satellite branches and regional campuses for the NAS system. No? So, in other words, if they will, the National Academy of Sports, if they will branch out to another area, it's the board that will act on it. But in this particular case, it's a legislative push or a legislative route for that matter. So Congress have already identified the area. And Congress have already, through its plenary powers, have already agreed that this is important for Baguio. However, what's important is to make sure that the curriculum is in line with the National Academy of Sports. No? So that's what I am envisioning on operationalizing this, because admittedly, the National Academy for Sports has the expertise in terms of curriculum, in terms of this type of activities, even na-mentioned earlier, even hiring of teachers, screening procedures. These are very specialized. No? You don't just go and get students. You really have to screen them. No? And admittedly, the NAS has that expertise, no? And they have the knowledge. Yeah. So we just want to align it. No? Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that, Mr. Chair. That was our very intent when we had this approved in the lower house. That's why we specifically included in Section 2 that we will DepEd will work in close coordination with the Philippine Sports Commission and the NAS or the National Academy of Sports for policy and program formulation and implementation. So tama yung sabi mo, Mr. Chair. And I think I agree with you that that should be the case because they are the expert on this, Mr. Chair.
What before I recognize Attorney Iroy, what I need from the NAS, Attorney Ramos, is to already talk at the board level, no, initiatives of Congress to establish national to establish high school for sports nationwide. No, because aside from this, there's also Bataan, and I think there's also another one, diba? In Leyte, there are two more coming. No, so part of the powers of the board is to formulate policies, guidelines, criteria in order to rationalize the establishment, administration, and operation of sports high schools, no, under the NAS system. No, so definitely wala pang policies, guidelines, and criteria. No, kumbaga naunahan yung board ng Congress in terms of establishing sports high schools. No, so I just want to call on the board to already come up with this criteria. But bearing in mind, there are two routes. There are two ways, no? Administratively and through legislative process. And we're now at the legislative process. And of course, the congressman represents their people, so they know best for their constituents. No, for example, in Bataan, in Leyte, they see the demand there, so they want to put up their own specialized. But we also need to make sure that the guidelines are in sync. No, and I personally I recognize that because I'm also a sponsor of the National Academy for Sports Law. So I want to make sure that it's in sync. No? Attorney Iroy, any comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair. You are correct there, Mr. Chair. In fact, prior to the approval of the National Academy for Sports, there was a previous laws that were approved by Congress. And these are sports academies. For example, Republic Act 10682. This is an establishing Alfonso Sports Academy and Training Center. Republic Act 10674, the Double del Norte Regional Training Center, this is our sports academy. 10683, the Siargao Island Sports Academy. 10680, these are Misamis Occidental Sports Academy. 11224, these are Sarangani Sports Training Center and Academy. They are all 7, Mr. Chair. In fact, in that discussion, Mr. Chair, the system of this academy should be aligned with NAS. That's why it was approved that these prior academies will be part of NAS later on once NAS is fully established. Yeah.
Please stand corrected. I thought this will be the first of its kind. No, I understand there are other bills, other sports academies created before the NAS.
Yes, Mr. Chair. With that, Mr. Chair, in fact, as PEC as the Vice Chair of NAS, before it was approved, that was the question as you mentioned by Senator Gordon at that time. What will happen to the existing sports academies here? And you are correctly pointing out that the system should be the same with NAS. So it's a matter of applying or the NAS right now to submit to these proposals to be aligned. Not necessarily the sports specifics, but the system as mentioned, Mr. Chair.
A shortcut to that, no, without going through Congress because laws take time to enact. Since those schools are under DepEd and the chairman of NAS is also DepEd, DepEd can actually release a new policy to align those schools with the NAS, no? Because DepEd has a lot of voice under the NAS system. So DepEd can actually fold in, no, insofar as curriculum and insofar as offerings are concerned into the NAS, no, yeah. So I think that is a workaround in terms of putting those schools in the NAS system. But in terms of the Baguio proposal, I understand from Congressman Mark Go that the intention is also to align it with the NAS system. No, although the creation is obviously by legislative fiat. No, so that's the direction that we want to undertake. No, is that correct, Congressman Mark?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So with that, we will definitely suggest some improvements in the bill so that relationship will be more pronounced and will be clear and will also be operationalized without any question in mind. No? All right, go ahead, Attorney Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to be clear, we thought earlier, I read the House Bill proposal, Bill number 8700, that Baguio City Sports High School was just intending to create a sports high school, but not under the system of NAS. And it was already confirmed by the Honorable Congressman. Now, just for the record, Your Honor, it is also in the IRR of RA 11470 creating NAS that for those high schools already existing, locally funded high school for sports pursuant to IRR Rule 7, Section 20 states that those locally funded high school for sports can be an extension campus or facilities of NAS, just subject to the approved memorandum of agreement by the board. Hence, we are not closing our doors to those existing locally funded high school for sports to be a part of the NAS system. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That's good to hear that there's already an intention to include those existing schools prior to the NAS to be part of the system. No? I think that's a good step forward. So with this proposal, again, I would like to flag the board to come up with policies, guidelines, and criteria, no, for the establishment, administration, operation of sports high schools. But we also have to take into consideration or bear in mind that there are two routes, no? And this is the legislative route that we're undertaking. And having said that, the NAS should already prepare itself, no, to come up with some form of policy or guidelines or even curriculum to this type of schools that will be established. Because as I mentioned, there's a proposal in Bataan that will be transmitted here to the Senate. There's another proposal in Leyte that will be transmitted here in the Senate, and all talks about high school for sports or sports high schools. And we need to make sure that it's harmonious. No? What we apply in Baguio should be the same in the other areas, no? So that it will be harmonious. Right.
So, Mr. Chair, may I know the suggestion now of the National Academy of Sports as far as this provision of the bill, specifically Section 2?
Yeah, any yes, any response?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. In a response to Section 2 of the proposed House Bill number 8700, Mr. Chair, we are in support of assisting the Baguio City Sports High School in the creation of its policy and program formulation and implementation and the technical assistance. In fact, we actually provide likewise upscaling of local coaches, Mr. Chair. So with that, we will not just pass to them the curriculum that we now implement in the National Academy of Sports, but also the upscaling of the local coaches, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I think we appreciate that, Mr. Chair, and I think that's a good sign that we can really benefit from the work being done right now by the National Academy of Sports. And once this bill is approved into law, I think the first action of the day would be to work with the NAS and the Philippine Sports Commission in defining the curriculum and other programs needed to implement this particular bill, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for recognizing, Congressman. Thank you for recognizing that NAS is a system, and the intention of NAS is to cascade its system, its knowledge, its procedures to the different sports high schools all over the country. And in fact, I was just flagged by my staff that in the law, in the NAS law, RA 11470, Section 19, it talks about campuses and existing locally funded high school for sports. So in other words, it was already envisioned into the law to uh, to include these existing schools, sports high schools, into the NAS system. So meron ng ganong intention ng batas, no?
Okay, that's good. No.
So more comments, but I like the model of NCCA and CCP. Even the screening of teachers, screening of students, very complicated talaga. Admittedly, you just it's not because someone plays good basketball immediately you can get that student. No, I know that the screening procedures is very rigorous and it's a science. No, it's not only just plain and
Art.
simple recruitment. No? And the NAS has that science, no? Has that expertise. All right. So any comments from the body on the Baguio City Sports High School? Any more comments with that?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead, Congressman. Go.
yeah, you said that earlier that the Department of Budget and Management will give an omnibus comment on all the bills. Probably at this point,
Yes.
you can hear
Yes.
them.
Okay. There's a request from Congressman Marco to comment specifically on this bill. So we call on Ms. Rico of the DBM.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Congressman Mark Go. Just a manifestation. In general, we defer to the comments and recommendations of the DepEd, considering that pursuant to RA 9155 or the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001, the DepEd is authorized to evaluate and determine the qualifications for the establishment and conversion of public schools in basic education. And the DepEd also issued DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2014, providing for the policies, standards, and guidelines for the establishment, merging, conversion, naming, renaming of public schools, and separation of public school annexes. May we just mention our initial estimate for the initial implementation of House Bill 8700 or the Baguio City School for Sports. For PS, capital outlay, MOOE, and procurement for equipment and facilities, that's 251 million. And our initial estimate for House Bill 7316 for the Baguio City School for the Arts. This is for PS, MOOE, and capital outlay, that's 133 million. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
May I direct that question to RD Carino? I understand from the O40 that the regional director will be the one formulating the budget request. So may we hear from RD Carino on the estimates to establish the high school, Baguio City High School for the Arts and Baguio City High School for the sport, for sports. RD Carino, are you still there? Nandiyan pa ba siya?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Congressman Marco.
Yeah, well, we take note of the estimated budget of the National High School for the Arts of 133 million and the National Sports High School of 200 million, Mr. Chair. And once this bill is approved, we will work out that this will be incorporated in the budget of DepEd here in the Cordillera, Mr. Chair.
Asek Bringas.
Yes, Mr. Chair, let me just clarify. I think the estimates provided by the DBM is only for the operational expense, PS, MOE, and capital outlay. I think that there is a need to include budget for site acquisition, because I know that Congressman Go mentioned that they are still looking for locations. So perhaps an additional fund for the acquisition of the site would be in order, Mr. Chair.
All right, we take note of that. Dr. Carino, are you still there? Or si Dr. Foculo, can you answer that question? Are they still there? I think they're, I don't know what's happening, but we'll take note of the question of DBM, which I think it's a valid question. But Congressman Marco already mentioned initial figures of 133 million for the High School for the Arts and 200 million for the High School for the Sports. 251. So 251 for the High School for Sports. And we will just await from RD Carino the official budgetary requirement to include site acquisition. No, so we will make that as part of our interpellation notes.
We have here already Director Stella Carino, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Dr. Carino, did you hear the question?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I just went out for a while to see the visitors. So I think it is on the budget, Mr. Chair.
Yes, it's on the budget for how much do we, basically what's the budget estimate for the High School for the Arts and High School for Sports?
I think together with the position paper given by Baguio City, they have also attached a budget like we have if everything that's PS as well as for the MOE like we have 236 million, Mr. Chair.
That's for the sports?
I think this is for both, Mr. Chair.
236 million for both schools?
Yes, for the initial, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Construction, it includes construction, site acquisition, and PS, Mr. Chair.
I think the numbers are different. No? Congressman Marco mentioned 133 for the arts and then 251 for the sports. So,
Mr. Chair, these are the numbers of DBM, Mr. Chair. I just took note of the numbers of DBM.
Let's just do this. RD Carino, just submit to the committee the initial estimates for both schools to include site acquisition.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, but you mentioned earlier a number of 236 million for both schools to include site acquisition.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but we are still we will still look into this because this was done by the group of the budget division of Baguio City. Actually, we did not yet honestly we did not yet discuss this with our finance people in the regional office. So we will submit the final one and after we have identified per year the initial amount that is needed. And hopefully for 2025, even if we have already submitted our budget proposal endorsed by the RDC, the budget for 2025 could still be accommodated for the first year of implementation for this school year, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. Just submit to us latest is next week. no?
Yes, Mr.
Next week. Yeah. So my final question to NAS is in section 8, letter A. No, it calls for the formulation of policies, guidelines, and criteria in order to rationalize the establishment, administration, and operation of the sports high schools with ESA, so meaning it's envisioning to put up more schools under the NAS system in accordance with a national sports program. No? So my first question is, have we created the national sports program already? And who creates that? Is that the NAS who will create that, or is that going to be created by PSC? No, because this I am envisioning this is the sports program of the country. No, where do we want to focus on? Where do we want to put all of our resources in? No, so who creates that, and have we created that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The National Sports Program is actually part of the declaration of the state policy, and it is already existing that DepEd already has its own special program of sports. The PSC is likewise having their own sports program. And with the National Academy of Sports, we are aligned with all the national sports program, Mr. Chair, as declared by the state's policy. Now, with your query on the formulation that the board, the power and function of the board is to formulate policies and guidelines, Mr. Chair, in the operation of the sports high schools under the NAS system. Mr. Chair, we to be candid, we don't have yet the policy for the creation of the satellite campuses or the branches of the NAS system. But we have already the system. We have already the curriculum in our NAS main campus, and which can be delegated down or cascaded to the satellite branches, Mr. Chair, once the policies are already created by the board of NAS. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why Congress is moving on a faster pace in terms of putting up specialized sports school. No, aside from this Baguio, we have two more lined up, and we're inclined to approve it. No, again, my philosophy with local bills, the local officials know their constituencies much better, so they will do good for their constituency. So we want to support that, but we also recognize the system direction of NAS. No, so it's important that the board discuss this already. No, because we cannot have a scenario wherein we will put up schools, but the system cannot be accommodated to those schools. No? So it's important that the guidelines, the policies, and criteria should be set in place already. No, so that as Congress creates all of these schools, you can just download those guidelines, download those policies. No, so it's really important that the board discuss this already. No, insofar as the national sports program, the national sports program is the national direction. No, in so far as sports, and I would assume that the PSC will be the one creating that or pushing for that, and the NAS will just follow that national sports program. No? So not to belabor this topic, just submit to us again, discuss through the board. Just submit to us the approved national sports program or the national sports program that the board is taking into consideration. No? Just submit to the committee, so we'll understand the direction of the NAS. What direction is the NAS taking in line with the national sports program?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
All right. So with that, there are no more questions on this proposal. So we approve House Bill number 8700 at the committee level, and we will submit it to plenary for further deliberations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Kong Mark. And we have two more local bills, and I understand Congressman Marco will be the one sponsoring those local bills.
Yes,
Number one, yeah, no, the first one will be House Bill number 9128, entitled An Act Separating the Paulino Dari National High School, Balong-Balong Extension in Barangay Balong-Balong, Municipality of Pitogo, Province of Zamboanga del Sur, from the Paulino Dari National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as the Balong-Balong National High School, and appropriating funds therefore. So may we hear from Congressman Marco as the sponsoring congressman?
yes, yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. To my colleagues right now and our different resource persons present, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. I'm here today to sponsor House Bill number 9128 on behalf of Congresswoman Jaisel Victoria Yu of the 2nd District of Zamboanga del Sur, who is now on official travel to Turkey. This bill seeks to separate the Paulino Dari National High School Balong-Balong Extension from Paulino Dari National High School and to convert it into independent school to be known as the Balong-Balong National High School. This is located in the municipality of Pitogo, a 4th-class municipality in the province of Zamboanga del Sur. The school has been an extension of the Paulino Dari National High School. It plays a crucial role in providing education to our young learners from Barangay Balong-Balong. Since its first operation last school year 2017-18, its funds, operation, and management relies solely from its mother school, Paulino Dari National High School. The local government units have extended their support by providing funds for the construction of school building, chairs, and reference books. With the passage of this bill, Mr. Chair, it will operate with greater efficiency and effective service to our students, teachers, and parents without being dependent from its mother school. Having said this, Mr. Chair, I humbly urge this committee to approve this bill, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much and good afternoon.
Thank you, Congressman Go. We call on the Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Ginaline Aleman, for her comments.
Good noon, Mr. Chair, and thank you. The Division of Zamboanga del Sur strongly supports the approval of House Bill 9128, which is the separation of Paulino Dari National High School Balong-Balong Extension from its mother school, Paulino Dari National High School, and thereby convert it into a separate school called Balong-Balong National High School. And with the favorable approval that will be granted on its separation, definitely it will redound to the benefit of the stakeholders in the community, especially our learners. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. Next will be Regional Director Ruth Fuentes. Any comments?
Mr. Chair, the regional office strongly supports the separation of Paulino Dari National High School in Barangay Balong-Balong, Municipality of Pitogo, Province of Zamboanga del Sur, to be an independent school and known as Balong-Balong National High School, with assurance of provision of technical assistance and other resources that will be needed thereon. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, RD. We call on ASEC Bringas for any comments.
Mr. Chair, the department interposes no objection to the separation of the Balong-Balong National High School in Zamboanga del Sur, also subject to the provisions of DepEd Order number 40 series of 2014.
Thank you, ASEC. Any comments from the body? Hearing none, we approve House Bill number 9128 for further discussions in plenary. And lastly,
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. But you cannot go, Congressman Marco, because you will also sponsor another bill in behalf of Congressman Fuentebella. So we will now tackle House Bill number 9295, an act separating the Binagas Basan National High School in Denrica High School Annex in Barangay Denrica, Municipality of Garchitorena, Province of Camarines Sur, from the Binagas Basan National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as the Denrica National High School and appropriating funds therefore. So we call on the sponsoring Congressman Marco.
Yes, thank you again, Senator Win, for giving me this opportunity to sponsor House Bill 9295 in behalf of Representative Arnold Bryan Fuentebella. This bill, Mr. Chair, seeks to convert the Denrica High School into the Denrica National High School in a bid to strengthen the delivery of educational services to our wards in the 4th District of Camarines Sur and to further empower its teaching complement. At present, the Denrica High School is a mere annex of the Binagasbasan National High School. For school year 2023-2024, a total of 264 students are being taught by only 11 teachers, only 2 of which are regular employees and with the remainder deployed from the nearby high schools. The current student-teacher ratio is a whooping 43:1. This predicament is typical in the 4th District of Camarines Sur, where majority of teachers are forced to utilize makeshift classrooms in view of the increasing learning population. While the interest in learning is highly evident, it is clear the high school as currently constituted is ill-equipped to provide quality public education to our youth in Denrica, both in terms of manpower and facilities. Further, as a coastal barangay, Denrica's only high school is frequently exposed to the elements having a mere 4 functional classrooms in view of the wear and tear brought by the high tide and frequent exposure to seawater. In some occasions, the school experiences flooding due to higher sea levels. Should the annual shoreline bring about heavy rains, the students lack any viable and economically friendly choices for education, with the nearest high school being almost 10 kilometers away. Even their teachers deployed from nearby high schools also have to travel longer distances just to teach our students in Denrica. The separation of Denrica High School and its conversion to a national high school is an expression of this honorable committee's resolve to adhere to the state policy to give priority to education as enunciated in Section 17 of Article 2 of the Constitution and the provisions pertaining to education in Article 14. It is also a strong manifestation of both legislative chambers to increase access to education. By further capacitating Denrica High School, we reduce inequality and give our children in Denrica a fighting chance against poverty. As renowned inventor George Washington Carver said, education is the key that unlocks the golden door to freedom. I humbly call on this honorable committee to not only unlock doors but open pathways to progress. Let us do this one school at a time. In view of the foregoing, Mr. Chair, the passage of this bill is earnestly sought. Again, thank you, and may we have a productive afternoon ahead of us.
We call on, thank you very much, Congressman Marco. We call on Assistant School Superintendent Ms. Arvin Sese or Mr. Arvin Sese.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. On the part of SDO Camarines Sur, we strongly support the enactment of House Bill number 9295 on the separation of Denrica High School from Binagasbasan National High School. We believe that its enactment will provide allocations from the government necessary for its full operation for the benefit and welfare of our school children in the said community and its feeders. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And then we call on Regional Director Dr. Gilbert Sadsad.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Regarding the House Bill 9295, we support the approval of this because first, I'd like to inform everyone that I was part of the group that organized this Denrica High School being part of the Binagasbasan High School years ago. In fact, the Denrica High School was already given government permit last year as a separate high school from the mother school, Binagasbasan High School. So they have they have complied and submitted all the documentary requirements prescribed in Debit Order number 40, series of 2014, on the separation of annex schools. So we therefore recommend for approval of House Bill 9295. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Regional Director Gilbert Sadsad. Thank you very much for that. We call on ASEC Bringas.
After certification of the regional director that they have fully complied with the requirements of the 040 series of 2014, the department interposes no objection to this bill, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. I just have one question. And again, this is related to the MGB report dated December 5, 2022. Addressed to the school head, Miss Maria Milante. It is mentioned that portions of the proposed school site have low to moderate landslide susceptibilities. So I understand in DO40 that it only cautions on high landslide susceptibilities, but nevertheless, low to moderate, especially moderate, should be given attention, considering that this is, now we're talking about school children going to our schools. No? So I'd like to ask our superintendent, assistant school superintendent, Arvin Sese, if they have endeavored any mitigating measures to address this moderate landslide, low to moderate landslide susceptibilities.
Mr. Chair, may I refer you to our education program supervisor, Mr. William Valiare?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon to everyone. As regards to the findings of the MGB for Denrica National High School, the plan of the division is to not construct school buildings in the area mentioned in the report. Anyway, the school site is 2.5 hectares. The school is just a small school, and there is enough buildable space for future construction, and probably the space identified as risk can just be used for other endeavors like the gulayan sa paaralan. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
What you're saying, sir, is the school has ample space to construct buildings outside of that moderate landslide susceptibilities.
Yes po, Mr. Chair. The school has 2.5 hectares school site.
2.5 hectares.
Yes.
Okay. And do you know which portion or how many hectares are affected by that landslide susceptibilities?
As of the moment, we still need to see the detailed report of MGBR05. But we assure you that there will be enough and sufficient buildable space in the future needs of the school.
Okay. let's do this. No, submit to us. So the strategy here is not. I would assume this is beside the mountain. Tama po ba? Landslide. So it's beside some.
Yeah, it's near the shoreline, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay. Let's do this. No, please coordinate with MGB and submit to us a description on where the safe areas that school buildings can be built on. Just submit to us that. Then coordinate with MGB as to where are the locations that are susceptible to landslides. We need to understand fully that our school children will not be put at risk, even though these are low to moderate landslides. But it's still risk. No? There's still risk, and we're not talking about adults. We're talking about school children. So I want to know exactly where are the areas that can be built. Can school buildings can be built on that are safe, and at the same time, give us also your some plans, no, on making the schools safe from landslides. For example, projects from LGUs, projects from DepEd, projects from your congressman that will help mitigate this impact of landslides.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will do it. We will do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, please coordinate with your LGU and with your congressman, si Congressman Arnie. He's a good friend of mine, and I'm sure he's more than willing to help you.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And to all these submissions, please submit it to us on or before April 19. No? Sorry, April 12. April 12, which is next Friday.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we'll note it down.
All right, thank you. And for the last comment from DBM, any comment on all the bills that we have discussed?
Mr. Chair, we just reiterate my earlier manifestation that we defer to the comments and recommendations of the DepEd. Thank
Okay,
you, Mr.
with that, we'll take note of your manifestation. So with that, any more comments from the body? ASEC?
Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
Yes, and ASEC, I will assume with good faith that when the when the CO, the central office, poses no objection, that means all the documents are in order and DO 40 are complied with. No?
Not everybody, not at this moment, Mr. Chair, but I understand that when we have favorable endorsements coming from the RO, they are already in the works. They are already in the process of complying with all requirements as per DO 40.
Okay. But I would, having said that, I would assume it's substantially complied with.
Yes, Mr. Chair. As a case in point is this for Bicol, where the regional director already certified the complete submissions of all documents, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
because the other just to put on record, the other RDs that to be honest, it's only RD Sadsad who mentioned fully complied. No?
Yes, that is why in my previous manifestations, Mr. Chair, all subject to the O40 compliance except for Region 5.
Yeah, the other RDs, I heard them they support, but they never mentioned complied with. No, but I would assume you support something because you know it's already
well, Mr.
substantially
Chair,
complied or complied
in
with.
these cases, Mr. Chair, these are separation from existing mother schools, meaning they are already in operation. At least for the elementary, naka grade 6 na sila ngayon. Ibig sabihin, naka-comply na sila with all requirements even at the start of the extension classes or annexes.
Kasi it's going to be very difficult for us, no, the committee, to look at each compliance and request from the provinces, from the RDs, the materials. No, it's really voluminous. So we would rely on the statements of DepEd insofar as compliance is concerned.
You can rest assured, Mr. Chair, that at the start of the operation of the extensions and the annexes, they were all subject to the same guidelines. So it is, well, apparently, kompleto na yan kasi nakapag-start na sila.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that manifestation. So any more comments from the body? Hearing none, so we will adjourn this hearing. Thank you very much for your participation. ASEC Bringas, thank you very much for your active participation, and also to Congressman Marco and to the rest of the resource persons coming from different parts of the country. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much again, Senator Win, and
This
the
hearing
rest
is
of
here.
the resource persons. Maraming salamat po.
Yeah.
Thank
This
you.
hearing is hereby adjourned. Thank you.